When are Liz Cheney and Hillary Clinton going to wave their finger at white women? When are Bill Clinton and Joe Biden going to wave their finger at white men? Because 52% of white women voted for Trump in 2016. 55% voted for Trump in 2020. They all voted against their own interests. When the finger waving going to start at them?
Well, thank you for highlighting that. I do have the support of over 200 Republicans who worked for various administrations, including everyone going back to Ronald Reagan, to the Bushes, to John McCain and Mitt Romney, and including Liz Cheney. And I'm very proud to have her support. And I believe that many of them who may have voted for Trump before are supporting me because they know the stakes are so high in terms of our very democracy and rule of law. And
so the finger wagging should start today or tomorrow.
Well, I think what is happening is that we are all working on reminding people of what is at stake, and that is very important.
So quite a little bit of a dodge there. She was also asked by Charlamagne at one point. She was like, were you upset that Obama did that? Because it seemed like your whole blackmail reaction was a result. She's like, oh, I'm not upset. I'm not upset at all. But she will not touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, she can't criticize Obama.
Right, but it does seem clear. And this is one of those questions. Has Obama lost it or not? Because I don't know, Crystal and I were talking about it yesterday. I wonder what you think. While he was president, nobody would even dare call him out for basically hectoring and lecturing people, especially black people, to come out and vote for him. It was just too taboo. But now that he's not the president, he's actually doing it on behalf of somebody else. Maybe it's just a little bit grosser because it's not even about him anymore. It's about telling them what to do and go do something else. So she is trying to sidestep that very carefully, which is smart in my opinion. But why is it then that Obama feels the license to just freestyle and do all this stuff with basically, and I just can't help think that it's not helpful, especially with the media reaction to it. And for a lot of people who are, if you're a young black guy and you're 22 years old, bro, you were like 16 when Obama was president. It's been a long time. That's, your parents might remember him fondly, but for you, like, you were a child during Yes We Can and all that. You were literally a child. You don't remember any of that. If anything, you've had a experience since then. So why would you want to listen to him?
And in case Charlamagne's dig there was a little bit too subtle for some people, like what he was saying there was that it is unfair and ridiculous to put this onus on black men in a way that you do not with white men and white women.
Right. Well, with any racial group, no person owes their vote to anybody because of their race.
So he's right. So what he's saying there is like, okay, Obama's out there finger wagging black men. Why are we forgetting the fact that white women need the finger wag? Like if the way to get, and it's absurd, like his question is absurd and it's deliberately absurd. And in the absurdity, you see the problem with Obama's finger wagging because nobody thinks that white women are all of a sudden going to start voting completely en masse for Democrats if you just wag your finger at them and tell them that they're wrong for the way that they're voting. Certainly not the case for white men. And so what Charlamagne is saying there is, what is it about your relationship to black men that makes you think that that is actually going to work? Like, let alone having those thoughts in the beginning, but like, your goal is to win votes. And that's not going to work. So what on earth are you thinking here? Obama, though, he's Obama. He feels
like
he can do anything.
Nina Turner even said that. Like, he's a deity to some people.
He really is. And 2008, he didn't have to do any finger wagging. What he had to do, and people forget this history, is prove to the black community that he could win.
Yes, that's right.
Like his numbers before Iowa.
I remember South Carolina was pro-Hillary up until after he won Iowa.
And he really benefited from, I think, a lot of people in the country not really understanding Iowa's like internal politics. And also, it's a caucus system, which means that the most liberal people are coming out, and people on the East and West Coast don't realize that Des Moines has a bunch of hipsters and coffee shops and liberals and like organics, organic food and Whole Foods and whatever. And so there are a bunch of white people who are happy to vote for Barack Obama out in Iowa. They thought it was, a bunch of like corn-fed, white farmers with, corn stalk sticking out of their mouth or whatever the stereotype is they have in their minds of who Iowa voters were. So when they saw that person in their mind voting for Obama, they're like, oh, he can win. Now I will support him.
Right.
But it was never you will support me because I'm black. Like that never would have worked for him.
Yeah, he earned it, and he actually tried to work for it. But now that he's been president and they've turned him into a god, now things are a little bit different. Now, well, with Kamala, there was another. Look, Charlamagne, I'll just say this. He's clearly he is like an MSNBC liberal. That's his version of the world that kept coming through. He'd be like, why don't liberals make the point that Republicans are bad? He's like, why don't people understand that? And Kamala's like, well, I think we try, Charlamagne. But, it's like people don't always agree with us. But sometimes he would poke through with some good stuff. So we had two kind of challenging questions. One was on him challenging her. He's like, why do you seem so scripted all the time? So here's what she had to say.
Now, one thing they've been saying, a lot of your press hits get criticized. Folks say you come off as very scripted. They say you like to stick to your talking points. And some media says you have...
That would be called discipline.
Oh, okay. Speak to that.
But go on.
No, I was going to say some people say you have an inability to fearlessly say who you are and what you believe. I know that's not true. But what do you say to that criticism? And is it fair for SNL to make fun of it?
Hasn't Maya Rudolph been wonderful?
Yes.
I think I have nothing but admiration for the comedy, and I think it's important to be able to laugh at yourself and each other.
But what do you say to people
in the spirit of obviously comedy and not belittling people as my opponent would do?
But what do you say to people who say you stay on the talking points?
I would say you're welcome. Mm-hmm. I mean, listen, here's the thing. I love having conversations, which is why I'm so happy to be with you this afternoon. And the reality is that there are certain things that must be repeated to ensure that I have everyone know what I stand for and the issues that I think are at stake in this election. Mm-hmm. And so it requires repetition. Some people say that until someone has heard the same thing at least 3 times, it just doesn't stay with you. So repetition is important.
So what do we all think? That's how she's trying to turn being scripted into a superpower. I kind of disagree with her. Just tell me what you think. I don't think it's that she's too scripted. It's that when she's off script, she clearly has not thought about literally anything at all, and then reverts back to safe territory, kind of like she did right there.
Right. So she has a script, and she deploys it in different scenarios, no matter what the question is.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is for me. But what did you take away?
It's right. So I think scripted. I think that's an interesting point. Yeah, scripted is okay. Fine. You've got your talking points. You've got your answers.
I've been covering Trump for 8 years. I can basically predict what he's going to say on a wide variety of topics.
I think what people actually want is more scripts. Mm-hmm. There's like 3 scripts.
Yeah.
And so, but there are dozens of questions that people have. But what she does is all the questions on this issue get funneled into this script. Mm-hmm. And all the ones here are this one, and all the ones here are that script. And so then you never actually get an answer. That SNL, has made fun of her for that. With one of the ways they did that was she was in a game show and they asked her a question and she answered, "I grew up in a middle class family."
Yes, exactly.
Which is not answering the question.
Yeah.
And it is a script. But she's also correct that, it's politics and discipline is a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, look, discipline, as you said, she's not wrong in the whole, if you don't repeat something, but I think part of the art, to the science is you don't have to...
People don't want to feel it.
They don't want to feel it.
It shouldn't become a joke. If it becomes a joke on Saturday Night Live, you took it too far.
And she's like, pretending everything was all good with Maya Rudolph and all that. But the fact that even they can get to it, this hyper-liberal comedy organization is taking a shot at you. Clearly, that's something that the most basic analysis will lead you to. The final thing that we pulled was actually on the border. This is, again, where Charlamagne, to his credit, actually will hit her a little bit. And he's like, come on. He's like, because she was talking about the border and how she's like, I support this new border bill and all of this. And he's like, come on, you guys don't bear any responsibility for the last 3 years. So she gets a little bit testy with him. Let's take a listen.
But doesn't the Biden administration have to take some blame for the border, though? A lot of the blame? Because, the first 3 years, y'all did get a lot of things wrong with the border.
No, Charlamagne, within hours of being inaugurated, the first bill we passed before we did the Inflation Reduction Act, before we did the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act, before we did the Safer Communities Act to deal with gun violence, first thing we dropped was a bill to fix the broken immigration system. which, by the way, Trump did not fix when he was president.